Kai Sotto to the Lakers or the Warriors? What is up, NBA fans, Kai Sotto fans, Lakers fans, Warriors fans, whoever's stopping in on this video? Welcome to TSR Sports. And a lot of the Filipino fan base has mentioned in comments that they really love the Lakers or Warriors, and it seems like those two teams, from what I can tell, are the two most popular teams in the Filipino nation. So I figured, you know what? Kai Sotto, probably going to go somewhere. I do think he's going to get drafted by somebody or sign with somebody. And I was curious, I wanted to ask you, my viewers, where would you rather see Kai go if he was going to go to one of these two teams? Cobra Kai in LA or Cobra Kai with Golden State? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the thumbs up to like support a fellow Kai fan and subscribe for more Kai Sotto content. Anyway, I want to give my 2 cents, though, on the positives and negatives if he was to go to either of these two teams. We'll start off with the Los Angeles Lakers, arguably the most popular team in the NBA. The fan base for the Lakers is huge. The Filipino fan base for the Lakers is huge, which means if Kai went to the Lakers, they're already the most popular team in the NBA. They're going to be even more popular. And going to the Lakers would give him massive exposure being with LA. He also would have the chance to play with a ton of future Hall of Famers. I don't know who's going to be on the roster next year. LeBron James is probably going to still be there. Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook if he comes back, Dwight Howard, and the list goes on. So having all those all-stars around him, or former all-stars, certainly couldn't hurt. And also, he could be leading the team in a few years because a lot of those guys may be leaving, so he could become a focal point on the offense. Now, any negatives going to the Lakers? The big one is the Los Angeles Lakers have no draft picks this year, which means if Kai Sotto was to go to the Lakers, unless they make a trade before the draft and get a draft pick, that means he would have to be undrafted. I want to see him get drafted. Preferably to my San Antonio Spurs, but there's a chance he could go somewhere else, and I'll root for him personally wherever he goes. Wish him well, and preferably my team, of course. But if he was to go to Lakers, that means nobody took a chance on him in the first round or the second round. And there's a lot of teams, my Spurs, the Thunder, that have multiple picks, so I do think he'll get drafted. But if he doesn't get drafted, that means less money for him. Rookie scale contract, he's going to get less money if he's not drafted. I want to see him get drafted. I think that would make him feel awesome getting drafted, and to go to the Lakers, he can't be drafted. So that one big negative with LA right there. The Lakers. No disrespect, Lakers fans, but that team is old and injured. LeBron James is 38 years old, and while he had an incredible season last year, I believe he almost led the league in scoring, he was obviously tired on defense. You can't ask a player almost 40 years old to do everything on both ends of the floor. It's just not going to happen. You only have so much gas in your gas tank, and he was expending a ton of it on the offensive side of the ball. Carmelo Anthony, if he decides to come back, is 38. Anthony Davis, while not as old as those guys, is injured quite often. So there is a concern. He goes to a team that just is injured, which could help him too. Maybe more playing time if a bunch of guys are hurt. But the Lakers' future, at least over the next few years, that window to win an NBA championship is closing really fast with the age of their best players and the fact that they have very, very limited draft capital over the next few years. And there's also one of the main reasons you would play with LA is to play with LeBron James. He might not come back after next season. It's been openly stated that if Bronny, his son, gets drafted by another team, he's probably going to finish his career there. Now, if the Lakers draft Bronny, then he's going to stay in LA. He moved to LA, so he might want to stay anyway, but I think there's a chance he might want to finish his career somewhere else. He wants to get another ring. Believe me, LeBron James wants that fifth ring. I'm sure he wants that sixth ring too, so he can at least tie Michael Jordan. And if his best chance to win a title is not in LA, he will likely go somewhere else. We've seen it before. He left the Heat. He left Cleveland. He's going to go where he can win, where he can contribute, where he maybe doesn't have to carry the load like he is right now. So there is that too. That could be a negative. He goes there to play with LeBron James, and LeBron James pieces out after 1 year. Let's get to the other team, though, that I talked about, Warriors fans. Obviously, a lot of positives joining the Warriors. An NBA championship caliber team. As I'm making this video, the Warriors right now are in the NBA Finals. Now they're down 2-1 to the Celtics, but there's still a lot of games left, so who knows what's going to happen with that. Plus, there's huge exposure being a member of the Golden State Warriors, a team that's been pretty much a dynasty for almost the last decade with the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So there's that. And he would get drafted if the Warriors took him. The Warriors have three. I don't realize they had 3 picks this year, 28, 51, and 57. So more than likely, if the Warriors wanted Kai Sotto, they're going to draft him. Maybe late first round, maybe late second round. Either way, he would be drafted, which, as I mentioned before, Getting drafted, I got to think, feels so much better than just getting signed as a free agent rookie that wasn't drafted. Now, there are negatives to going to the Golden State Warriors as well. They're not as old as the Los Angeles Lakers, but they are getting older. Steph Curry is 34, Klay Thompson is 32, and they're struggling with injuries as well. Steph Curry's had some injuries on and off the last few years. Klay Thompson had some very unfortunate bad luck with two season-ending, not even playing type injuries with a torn ACL, a torn Achilles. So there's always a concern that one of those guys could get hurt. Steph Curry right now is playing with an injury in the NBA Finals. We don't know the extent of it, but getting over 30, bumps and bruises start to add up and things start to break down more and more. There's also the fact that the Warriors do occasionally play small ball. I don't watch the Warriors the whole time, but when I've watched them, they've had a small lineup out there. And if the Warriors are playing small ball, does that mean Kai Sotto, if he's on the team, is not getting in the lineup? And last but not least, there's still the James Wiseman factor. James Wiseman, the center drafted in 2020 in the first round, second overall pick. Now, while he didn't play any games this year due to injury, I gotta think the Golden State Warriors are not ready to give up on him, so they still are probably going to invest a lot in him. Investing time in him, does that mean less investment opportunities for Kai Sotto? In the end, which team do I think I'd rather see him go? Well, I'd rather see him go to my San Antonio Spurs. We already established that. That being said, if he was to go to one of the two teams, the Golden State Warriors or the Los Angeles Lakers, I think the Warriors would be the better team to go to right now. I think he probably would be the backup center to James Wiseman, but looking over in LA with the age, a lot of their best players, the big question mark surrounding LeBron James, with them having one of the biggest disappointing seasons, if you will, last season, where they were expected to make the NBA Finals, and this season they didn't even make the play-in. Then you got the Warriors, who are already in there, the NBA Finals. Probably a better chance to win moving forward. The Warriors, Steph Curry still probably has at least a solid 3 or 4 good years in him. At least being a shooter, might be even more than that, as long as he stays healthy. So I would say I wouldn't prefer him to go to the Warriors if he's going to go somewhere. But if I had to pick a team that would maybe he could progress more, I would think Golden State. Plus, with the 3-point sharp shooting the Warriors have with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, that maybe give him ample opportunity to use some of his skills in the post to get a bunch of lob passes. And Kai Sotto can also shoot the three. So man, that team would be stacked. Wherever he goes, I am going to follow him. It's a fun story. I'm enjoying covering it, and I'm really having fun talking to you guys in the comments about what his future is in the NBA as well. So that's all I got. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, go Kai go!